Faced with life-changing decisions, our heroine must choose between her heart and her art. Grab a tissue and a cold drink, because things are about to get as emotional as a telenovela finale. Chapter 9. Shadows and Light. The morning after the gallery opening dawned bright and clear, but Camilla's mind was anything but. She sat at her tiny kitchen table, nursing a cup of strong coffee, her eyes fixed on the newspaper before her. A glowing review of Mariana's exhibition took up half a page, with a particular focus on the raw talent and evocative style of emerging artist Camila Santos. She should have been elated. Instead, a knot of anxiety twisted in her stomach. A knock at the door startled her from her reverie. She opened it to find Julio, grinning from ear to ear and brandishing a bouquet of wildflowers.
Congratulations, superstar.
He crowed, sweeping her into a hug.
I told you you'd make it big one day.
Camila laughed despite herself, the familiar scent of Julio's cologne momentarily grounding her.
It's just one exhibition, Julio, hardly making it big.
Julio pulled back, his expression suddenly serious.
Hey, none of that. This is huge, Cammy. You should be celebrating.
She forced a smile, ushering him inside. As Julio chattered excitedly about the review, arranging the flowers in her chipped vase, Camilla's eyes drifted to the bracelet on her wrist. The tiny fire extinguisher charm caught the morning light, and suddenly she was back in that moment, falling into Maxim's lap, the shock in his storm-gray eyes, the electricity of that first touch.
Earth to Camila.
Julio's voice cut through her memory.
You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Camila shook her head, trying to clear it.
I'm fine. Just processing everything, I guess.
Julio's eyes narrowed.
This wouldn't have anything to do with a certain Russian art collector, would it?
Heat flooded Camilla's cheeks.
What? No, Save it?
Julio interrupted, a knowing smirk on his face.
I saw the way he looked at you last night, like you were the only masterpiece in that whole gallery.
Camila sank onto her worn sofa, suddenly feeling overwhelmed.
It's complicated, Julio.
Isn't it always?
He sat beside her, his voice softening.
Talk to me, Cammy. What's really going on?
She took a deep breath, trying to organize her swirling thoughts.
It's just, everything's happening so fast. The exhibition, the attention, Maxim. I feel like I'm losing myself, like I'm turning into someone I don't recognize.
What do you mean?
Camila stood pacing the small room.
Last night, at the gallery, I was schmoozing with these art world elites, talking about perspective and socioeconomic commentary. Me, the girl who used to sell sketches on the beach for pocket change.
She paused at the window, looking out at the favela sprawling below.
What if success changes me? What if I lose touch with where I came from, with what makes my art real?
Julio was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was uncharacteristically serious.
Cammy, look at me.
She turned, meeting his earnest gaze.
You are the most talented, passionate, genuine person I know. Success isn't going to change that. It's just going to let more people see what I've always seen in you.
Camila felt tears prick her eyes.
But what about Maxim? He's from a completely different world. How can I be with someone like that without losing myself?
Julio stood, joining her at the window.
Maybe the question isn't how you can fit into his world, but how you can build a new world together. One that has room for both the favela and the fancy galleries.
As if on cue, Camilla's phone buzzed. A message from Maxim.
Last night was incredible. You were incredible. Can we meet for coffee? There's something I need to tell you.
Camilla's heart raced as she showed Julio the message. He whistled low.
Sounds serious. You gonna go?
She bit her lip, indecision warring within her.
I don't know. What if...
Another buzz interrupted her. This time it was an email from Mariana Duarte.
Girl, we need to talk. A collector from New York is interested in commissioning a series. Big opportunity. Come to the gallery ASAP.
Julio read the email over her shoulder, his eyes widening.
Cammy, this is huge. You have to go.
Camila stared at her phone, feeling pulled in two directions. The New York Commission could be her big break, a chance to establish herself on the international art scene. But Maxim? The memory of their kiss on the balcony sent a shiver down her spine.
I need to think.
She muttered, sinking back onto the sofa. Julio sat beside her, his expression sympathetic.
Look, I know you're scared, but sometimes you have to take a risk to create something beautiful. Isn't that what you always say about your art?
Camila nodded slowly, her fingers absently tracing the fire extinguisher charm.
You're right. I don't want to lose myself in all of this. I don't want to become some sanitized version of myself that fits into the art world's expectations.
Then don't.
Julio said simply.
Be Camila Santos, the girl who paints with her whole heart. The girl who sees beauty in the chaos of the favelas. The girl who's brave enough to fall for a handsome Russian, even if it scares the hell out of her.
A laugh bubbled up in Camilla's throat, surprising her.
When did you get so wise?
I've always been wise. You were just too busy painting to notice.
As Julio left, promising to check in later, Camilla found herself standing before her easel. A blank canvas stared back at her, full of possibility and terror in equal measure. She picked up a brush, dipping it in deep, rich blue. As she made the first stroke, she thought of Maxim's eyes, of the way he looked at her like she was the most fascinating thing he'd ever seen. Another stroke, this time a vibrant orange that reminded her of the sunset over the favela. As she painted, pouring her confusion and hope and fear onto the canvas, Camilla realized something. She didn't have to choose between her roots and her future, between her art and her heart. Maybe, just maybe, she could find a way to blend them all into something new, something uniquely her own. The question was, would Maxim be willing to be part of that messy, beautiful creation? Or would the weight of their differences, the pull of their separate worlds, prove too much to overcome? With a deep breath, Camilla set down her brush and picked up her phone. It was time to find out.